Hello and welcome to the channel. The decision by President Tinubu to remove fuel subsidy has largely been applauded by many Nigerians, despite the uncertainty that came with it in terms of the prevailing hardship. Nevertheless, it doesn't end there, as Tinubu has been implored to go the whole 9 yards in restoring the country's economy as a result of the singular act from the subsidy removal. Subscribe, like, share, and comment. Thank you. Yes to subsidy removal, but Tinubu should go the whole hog. President Bola Tinubu's removal of fuel subsidy during his inaugural speech on 29 May is a steely resolve well made. But it has set the alarm bells ringing. The decision sits well with the World Bank, IMF, and technocrats who had engaged in long advocacy for it, but not so for the downtrodden, who see only the painful effects that go with it. Evidently, it is a well-calculated policy that pulls Nigeria from the precipice of bankruptcy and hence the rogue regime of subsidy corruption that has savaged the country for more than 3 decades. A day after the announcement, all hell was let loose at petrol stations. The Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, rolled out a new price template for the product, which replaced the 185 naira per litre for between 448 naira and 557 naira per litre across the 36 states of the country and the Federal Capital Territory (FCT). But the retail marketers are selling above the price range for up to 800 naira per litre in some areas. The organized labor's swift and truculent reaction with its threat of a nationwide strike was not unexpected. Its grouse was the non-consultation with various stakeholders before the decision was taken on the lack of measures put in place to cushion the deleterious effects of the price spike on workers. The fact that the 2023 Appropriation Act budget captured fuel subsidy till the end of June made its abrupt and unilateral removal more revolting to Labour. To be fair, the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) acted within its right as an organization devoted to workers' welfare. The truth is, it is not going to be easy economically henceforth for the average Nigerian. The new order will stoke inflation, currently at 22%. The inflationary spiral is already being felt in the over 200% hike in transport fares. Frenetic discussions between Labour and government representatives, already gathering pace, will resume on 19 June. The agreement reached last Monday nipped in the bud the earlier planned 7th of June nationwide strike. These include the setting up of a joint committee to review proposals on wage increase, inclusion of low-income earners in the $800 million cash transfer program, rehabilitation of the country's ailing refineries, repair of roads, among others. The Trade Union Congress (TUC) had, in its separate discussions with the government team, presented a 200,000 naira minimum wage demand to replace the current 30,000 naira. The NLC adopted it. Finding common ground on this proposal and the consequential adjustments on general wages to be made at both federal and state levels will certainly be complicated. What is publicly known about fuel subsidy is that it is a state-sanctioned scam, which has hemorrhaged the treasury at the expense of the provision of public infrastructure and services like roads and bridges, health, education, and water for decades. Previous administrations lacked the political will to stop it and rein in the thieving cartel. The Tinubu decision, therefore, is a welcome rupture from our horrible past. Interestingly, candidates of all the major political parties in the last presidential election, Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) and Peter Obi of the Labour Party (LP), had fuel subsidy removal as one of their core campaign promises. Obi further characterized subsidy as an organized crime. It could not be more correct. How the country got to this bizarre junction is a study in national malaise. For about 3 decades, Nigeria has been importing petroleum products, premium motor spirit petrol, kerosene and diesel, instead of putting its refineries in Port Harcourt, Warri and Kaduna to good use. It committed $25 billion to the turnaround maintenance of these refineries in more than 2 decades, without achieving any result because of corruption. This is an embarrassment for a major OPEC member country. From a 257 billion naira subsidy payment in 2006, it reached 8.48 trillion naira in 2022, going by figures released last Thursday by the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission (RMAFC). The agency's chairman, Mohammed Shehu, in his endorsement of subsidy removal, stressed that the NNPCL sequestered the amount as subsidies for the year, which was yet to be reconciled by the RMAFC, Auditor General, and NNPCL. A total of 3.36 trillion naira was provided for subsidy in the first 6 months of 2023. This means that it would have bled the treasury to the tune of 6.72 trillion naira if the bazaar had run through the entire year. The Nigerian reality is that subsidy is not sustainable, with 96% of the country's revenue being used to service a debt of more than 77 trillion naira. The national conversation on the subsidy scam cannot end only with its removal and without bringing the felons involved to book. There is nothing spectral about the suspects. At least, the investigation of the 2009 to 2011 heist by a House of Representative panel unveiled 140 petrol importers, out of which 21 were asked to refund 382 billion naira over dubious subsidy claims by a federal government committee that reviewed the report of a technical committee headed by Igboje AIG Imokwede. 9 firms shunned the summon of the reps panel, and the country irresponsibly swept the sleaze under the carpet. Failure to rein in the culprits was a tacit approval of treasury plundering and culture of impunity, which helped the sleaze to fester for 12 more years. The 2011 subsidy scam of 2.5 trillion naira involved a purported 59 million liters of daily consumption, as against the actual figure of 35 million liters. The figure almost doubled to 68 million liters per day in 2022. Nigerians ceaselessly faulted these figures just as key actors in government did. No country has developed by ignoring the brazen assault on its treasury such as the fuel subsidy scam as presented. The best way to mitigate the impact of its removal on Nigerians is for government to clean up the mess in the oil sector. The courage that Tinubu has displayed so far should be stretched further in the recovery of all funds looted in connection with the racketeering and other thefts in the oil sector. Truth be told, comforts expected from the planned interventions will not go far. The only magic bullet that we see is a reset of the economy for it to work for all and improve the welfare of all Nigerians. Money saved from the subsidy removal should not be used to subsidize the inefficiency of government. The gains must be channeled to the infrastructure and social services sorely needed in the country. Above all, Tinubu and the 36 governors should show their own personal sacrifices by reducing the expenses used to maintain them in public offices. That's the news, guys. Thanks for listening. Until next time, bye.